Inspiration sparks and raises our vibration, encouraging all of us to live our best lives. It is my pleasure to welcome our speaker for this afternoon or evening, Bonnie Crosier. Bonnie is the president and founder of SCoA. Her passion is with education and working with those who want to explore their spiritual journey by searching and getting curious about life. As a retired chaplain, she brings a greater understanding of spiritual care to her ministry. A warm Harmony Harbor welcome to Bonnie.
Today I want to start with a story. It's called Driving Your Own Bus. And it was, hang on here. It was written by Phil. If we think about our own lives as being a journey on a bus, surrounded by a great variety of people with all particular positions on our bus that we can relate to where they fit in our lives. Some are right there next to us, some are behind us, some are in front of us, but all are important in playing some role in how we are positioned in their lives and ours. As I write this, I am reminded of the movie Speed with Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves, where they're all on a bus being controlled by a manic demanding a ransom. The truth is that all too often our lives can be just like that, out of control, with someone else doing the driving. A fearful situation? Well, of course it is. The brutal truth is that so many people are living out what nightmare bus ride they're having right now, out of control, and don't know what they can do about it. Okay, so you've got the scene in your mind. In order to get some perspective on our own lives, we need to move to the back seat of this bus for a while and become the observer of what is really going on. We need to observe who the most significant people are and how they are positioned in our lives. They're standing over us because they feel superior. Are they moving forward in their own lives and leaving us behind? Are they following behind us because we've chosen to move forward? So now we're faced with an important question. Who's driving your bus? Is it someone from your past who has dominated you into what you do? And even though they may not still be present in your life, are they taking you where you want to go now? Do you feel like you would like the bus to just stop and let you off? Well, here comes the challenge. From the rear seat of observation, we need to start to move closer to the driver's seat. It doesn't matter how long this takes, and it doesn't matter how much we're challenged by the people who may try to bring us back and progress backwards instead of forwards. We have to do this for ourselves starting right now. Our goal is to be in the driver's seat of our own lives. And it's inevitable that we're going to be challenged. And that's when we need courage. Yes, we will take the different lengths of time to move forward. That's when we need persistence, patience with ourselves. Most certainly, we feel daunted at times by this process. That's when we need to have determination. We're going to have to ask people to vacate their seats, which can possibly be their dominant position in our lives, so that we can move forward towards that front seat we wish to occupy. We're going to have to sit in the middle of the bus at times while we learn to muster more courage and determination to move forward again. This is all part of the process, so stick with it because this is all for you. During this process of moving forward, we must retain conscious of where the bus is now and think about where we really want to take once we are up front and in control. One very important point, at no stage in this process do we tread on someone if they get in our way as we move forward. We just simply step around them and move on. Okay, now you've made it. You have asked the driver to step aside and let you have your turn, and now you're in the seat. It's all up to you now. If you're not too sure what to do and how to do it, just stop and park for a while. It doesn't matter what you do or how long it takes because this is your game now, so play it your way. Get crystal clear on where you choose to take your bus now and very clear on who you wish to occupy and accompany you on this new journey. The rest of the process of trusting your own judgment and decision. Good luck. And always remember, what other people do or say is their stuff. How we react is our stuff. Well, I never really gave much thought about comparing life and relationships to a bus before. The earliest thought I had about buses was the children's song that talked about the wheels on the bus go round and round all through the town. The bus was also a means to the end of getting to school in my younger years. And when I read the story, I had to read it a couple of times to really grasp the point of the message and apply it to the memories I had that have carried through with various behaviors from others throughout my life. From people who had a different agenda for life than I. And I guess now we can all call that personal baggage. As I read this story to you, did you think about various people in your life that would fit different paragraphs of the story? And did you unpack any of your personal baggage as I read? People come and go throughout our lives, and sometimes behaviors keep coming up with the actions being the same, only the names and faces have changed, bringing up old situations that would best be kept locked in that baggage and discarded without ever having to be reminded of the distaste others have left with us. I was once told until we understand the lessons that come with the challenging circumstances, that they're going to keep coming back for us to make some sort of change or acknowledgement of what's been presented. In the areas of our life that may be uncomfortable or frustrating or challenging, gives us one more chance to pause and understand how to make a determination using the facts and possibly shaping personal boundaries. So, what is it that brings you peace and harmony? What is it that is challenging in your peace and harmony now, or challenged it in the past that still keeps coming up? Has this happened before with the same person, or maybe been the same scenario with a different face? In the article dated April 26, 2022 by Psychology Today entitled 5 Stages to Cope with Toxic Family Members, they talk about basic characteristics with a toxic person, mainly a family member, but I think this could apply to anyone, whether they're family or not. The first thing is that they're manipulating and that they do whatever they need to control you in any situation that they feel is in their best interest. They blame others for everything, especially about themselves, because they don't want to acknowledge it for their own self. They rarely ever say they're sorry for their actions. They take no responsibility for their own actions, and in their mind, they can do no wrong. They have no concern for anyone else's thoughts, feelings, and needs. They are often critical, judgmental, and cruel. There is simply no emotional filter, and they see no reason to control how they express themselves. Could come out in yelling, name calling, and even worse. They make you feel guilty for things you didn't do. And they lie and cheat to get their way. These characteristics will not allow you to move closer to the front of the bus. If your goal is to be in that driver's seat, they suggest that you do what will be in the next few points. First thing is to create boundaries. And I know we've talked about boundaries before, but for some, it's easier to take those boundaries down at times of confrontation to protect what you hold sacred. Creating boundaries can maybe even seem awkward or uncomfortable at first. Boundaries are really nothing more than a representation of how you value yourself. In the story, the author writes, it's inevitable that we're going to be challenged. That's when you need courage. Limit your contact. Sometimes it's not easy, especially when you have to live with that person or people. If you find yourself in a confrontational situation, don't play in that energy. In other words, don't engage. By playing in the energy, you open the door for other person to manipulate and control not only the situation, but yourself. Remember in the story, they said, don't tread on others. Create a solid support system. Start surrounding yourself with positive people that don't engage in the drama toxic people create. This will start to change the energies surrounding you as well. The law of attraction will bring what you want and what you want to choose to attract. Cut off all contact. If the challenging behaviors keep presenting themselves and all else has failed, it may be easier to change your surroundings. Sometimes this is hard when you have done everything you think of to remedy the problem. This may be your only choice. As I read the story, I found the comparison to spiritual freedom similar. I would think the closer one gets to driving their own bus, how free they would be spiritually. At one point in the story, the author writes, one very important point: at no stage in this process do we tread on someone if they get in our way. As we move forward, simply step around them and move on. And again, playing in the energy is not going to answer any problems. When dealing with those who stand in the way of our peace and harmony and spiritual growth, they don't have anyone's personal interest but their own. These personalities have their own agenda, no matter how much love and understanding you try to give them. Dr. Seuss once quoted, be who you are and say how you feel, because those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. It's a lot of wisdom with Dr. Seuss. Think about the different characteristics you have overcome in the years. Anyone experiencing overbearing, controlling, verbal and physical abuse, favoritism towards others, and what other characteristics can you add to that? Do you put yourself on the bus, the back, middle, closer to the front? Or do you feel that you're the driver of your bus? If not, are you really spiritually free? To be spiritually free, it takes determination, commitment, true to self, and most of all, love and honesty to yourself. If you truly love and respect yourself, the process should become easier. I also have a quote here from Rumi. Yesterday I was clever. so I wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I am changing myself. Before I leave today, I want to read a poem to you. It's called Spiritual Freedom by Alessa Willie. I don't talk much, so I write. When the world seems to be caring and caving in on me, there is no escape in sight. I write. I write because there seems to be no consolation in talking. And when people ask what's wrong, they seem to just be barking. When I want to be alone with my thoughts, I whisper to my pen and my paper because they understand. They do not judge or make light of my plight, so I write. When troubles infiltrate the depths of my mind, I write. Because written words are utterances my mouth can't vocalize. To avoid being mentally paralyzed, I write. I write to emancipate my mind from the many forces of emotional bondage. To free my spirit, I put thoughts on ink and paper, and I write for spiritual freedom. However you find your way to drive your own bus, I hope you find your path that brings you peace and harmony. May your journey be filled with peace and light for the rest of your life. Thank you for allowing me to serve you and spirit.